Turkey's parliament has approved Sweden's accession to NATO after months of deliberations. With President Erdogan expected to sign off on the decision, it does, however, leave Hungary as the lone holdout to the enlargement of the defense alliance. Bloomberg's Patrick Sykes, monitoring the story out of Istanbul, joins us this morning for more. Patrick, good morning. Talk to us a little bit about how Turkey got to this point.
Morning. Yeah, it's been a marathon race to this point since June 2022. This whole process started. You'll remember it was supposed to be this accelerated accession process, a big show of unity for NATO as it tried to counter Russian influence and obviously had the war in Ukraine to deal with. Instead, Turkey emerged and Hungary as these obstacles to that process. Turkey saying, hang on, these countries are presenting obstacles to our own national security interests. In Turkey's case, it was what they saw as support, or at least a permissive environment for terrorist groups, and then the restriction on arms exports as well from Sweden. So we've since then had this back and forth over months, years in fact, between the two sides, and finally late last night, the approval in Parliament. Now we wait for President Erdogan to sign. Nothing finished until, of course, he signs that, but he has indicated in the past that he supports the accession, so we would expect him to go ahead with it.
Talk to us about where Hungary falls into all of this story. I mean, we know there was some reluctance from that part of the political dynamic there. Could they change their mind ultimately?
Yeah, I think like Turkey, they've been fairly ambivalent on the position so far. But we have seen just recently Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban inviting his Swedish counterpart to his country for talks. So I think that will be the next opportunity for some movement. With Turkey now out of the woods and fully on board with this, at least from the parliamentary perspective, I think it does make it more difficult for Hungary to sustain that holdout position. Of the two, I think Turkey was always the more vocal about its reasons for holding out, but no doubt Hungary will want to keep those cards and preserve that bargaining power as far as it can. But I think the next point to watch for will be that meeting between the two prime ministers.